Hey everybody, I'm inside the kitchen of Dulcedo Coffee, where you and I are about to learn how to make the best latte in all of Richmond. Or is it Katie? Or is it Fulshear? Or how about the entire world? Stick around.
Hi, I'm Ed Sheeran. This is Bruno Mars.
Hey, it's Katy Perry.
This is your man Flo Rida with Freddie Cruz.
This is AJ Mitchell with Freddie Cruz.
Freddie Cruz.
Freddie Cruz.
Tell your Chico pick Mr. 305 and you already know what it is.
My name is Freddie, and it's time to cruise through HTX.
What made you want to make a latte to begin with? Like the first latte ever.
First latte ever.
The first latte you ever made. Why? Like, what made you want to do it?
That's a tough question. I think I wanted coffee. But there's a nice balance that comes in by adding milk to coffee. I think most people's introduction to coffee is through a latte. It's a natural progression. This is the coffee grounds.
Smells fantastic.
It does, right?
I mean,
the next thing we do, we put our spreader on here, smooth out the coffee ground.
And why is that important?
This is important so that when the shower screen sprays the hot water over the coffee bed, we get an even dispersion of water. Hopefully there's no channelization of the water so that the brewing can be uniform.
Talk to me about the idea to open up Dulcedo.
Dulcedo. So I grew up in an area that has 200-year-old coffee shops. This is in Mexico. And so coffee is I guess a natural part of what I thought. I was growing up with coffee, let me put it that way. But also there's a certain coffee environment. I'm gonna draw something for you here.
That seemed way too easy for you.
Did it?
I blinked.
And yeah,
and you pulled that off.
And I was trying to do it while talking, which is
mistake?
No. It's just that they are really good at it because I do it every day. I do it every so often.
Oscar, tell me about the drink that you have there.
Oh, this is a Cortado, which is about 2 ounces of espresso, about 2 ounces of steamed milk. This is a 5 ounce cup. Actually, it's about 3 ounces of steamed milk the way we make it here. But it's perfectly balanced for someone that wants to bring some balance to their espresso shot. Just a little bit of steamed milk. It's great. This is my favorite coffee.
It's like a modified version of a latte.
Yes, very. Yeah. Just a lot less milk.
A lot less milk.
A lot less milk.
All right, because the espresso is very pungent, very strong.
It is.
The face.
It is. Depending on the roast of the espresso.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of espressos are blends, so depending on the blend. But you can have some espresso that has different notes coming through, some fruitiness even.
He sounds like one of those wine guys. Notes.
Yeah. Coffee. It can get you can get very deep into coffee. Our espresso is actually more of a medium blend.
Okay. And so what is the difference between medium and then dark roast and then all the others?
Good question. Yes, it's how long the coffee has been roasted for. It has a chemical reaction on the coffee bean.
Okay.
Where you can actually roast it to a degree where you're developing some caramelization of the sugars that are naturally in the coffee bean, and you can start developing some flavors during the roasting process, depending on how long you keep it roasted on the initial cycle of the roast. And then if you keep going, you start developing other flavors.
At any point, does the caffeine in the coffee bean get extracted? So if you roast it too much, it's got less caffeine, or vice versa?
So what I would say between roast, the thing that would affect it most is the density of the final product. And what I mean by that is when you're roasting the coffee, it's kind of like popcorn. Popcorn, there's trapped humidity inside the shell, and then when you heat it up, the humidity bursts open and it pops.
Right.
As I get popcorn.
Okay.
Coffee beans are very similar. There's trapped humidity, and it goes through an initial cracking phase, and then it goes through a second cracking phase.
Okay.
Where the shell bursts open. Each time it's growing in volume. And so if you were to say, hey, I have a cup of dark roast coffee, there's fewer beans that can fit into that cup because it is bigger in volume.
Gotcha. Because it's been heated.
It expands, and so you can fit fewer beans into that cup.
Fewer beans means less caffeine.
Now, on the flip side, if you have a light roast coffee, you can pack a lot more beans. There's a lot more density in those beans, and so you're going to get a lot more caffeine.
Okay.
The other thing is the flavor is going to be harder to extract sometimes when it's too light, whereas the flavor really comes out on a dark roast. The boldness really comes out on a dark roast. My personal opinion, the best is the in-between.
What do you call that? Is it medium roast?
It's the medium roast,
Okay.
yeah, just a medium roast.
All right.
Yeah, I think that the density is really what would affect the caffeine levels a little bit more than some of the other aspects.
What do you like most about making coffee here at Dulcedo? What is your favorite thing? You come in and this has made my day.
Oh, interacting with people, the customers. I love it. One of the things is that, we as human beings, we're social beings, we're social animals.
Yeah.
We like people. Well,
For the most part.
And there is something to interacting with someone on a daily basis, even a complete strangers, making their day, bringing community together. Even for our customers, people watching, because we provide this venue where they can sit and enjoy. People watch. They can do work from here.
It's a nice spot. You can do all of it.
They can do a lot of
There's
things.
a chess board.
Yeah, we're sitting at a table that has a chessboard on it. We have people playing chess games. There's a group of guys that would come here after their workout and they play chess. They hang out for a couple hours, play chess, drink coffee. So I think it's just the aspect of bringing people together, interacting with people. By far, that really makes our day. That's where it's at.
What I admire about you the most is twofold. You are operating this business with your wife.
Yes.
And a lot of people will tell you, never go into business with your family. And you and your wife are operating it together.
Yes.
And you are a team and making this happen. That's one. And then two, you're doing this while also working another job full time.
Yeah.
And I admire the hustle. So talk to us in the context of making your coffee dreams come true. This is a great. This is what many, I imagine, somebody that comes in, they see this and they're like, wow, I would love to do something like this one day.
Wow.
But it's not easy. Margins are low. For those that don't know about the restaurant beverage industry, the margins are low. So what is your advice for somebody who wants to get into this from the perspective of someone that's working a full-time gig and operating this on, not on the side, but full-time?
Yeah. 2
full-time jobs.
Yes, I guess you could say that. So you have to want it. There's no substitute for the grit required in saying this is what I want to do, because you're right, the margins are low, and that's just the nature of the business. So first off, this is what you want. You have to want to do this. It's a lot of fun. Believe me, it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of personal enjoyment in this, and I could go more into that aspect. But to answer your question, it's there are going to be ups and downs, and you do have to realize at the end of the day when things go horribly wrong, you have to be able to burden it through. Yeah, because they do. When we opened at the end of 2019, when there were rumors of some new virus going around, and by the time we were 4 months into this, we had to more or less shut down because COVID happened.
Yep.
That's really bad for a new business. and I have a brick and mortar venue that I have to pay rent on, and I have employees. It's bad.
And it's food and beverage.
It's food and
Where the
beverage.
margins are
And-
low.
and there's a lot of unknowns, right?
Yeah.
And so some of those things that it's like, well, there was no one else I could go to. It's all on myself and my wife, and that's what I meant, I guess, when I said grit. You have to be able to just stick to it.
How bad do you want it? And
How
are you
bad
willing
do
to
you want
stick
it? Yeah.
through it? You know, Alex Morosi talks about the cycles of owning a business, where there's the uninformed optimism and then the uninformed pessimism when things go awry. And then there's the valley of despair. And he says that most entrepreneurs get caught up in the valley of despair and that's when they tap out and decide, okay, I'm just going to get a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Because they don't have the grit that you're talking about. But if you stick it out, which is what you've done, you stick it out, and now you've got informed optimism, because now you know that you can get through it, which is it being COVID. You get through it, and so you have the informed optimism. That way, when things grow and grow, and then the next time, whether it's just a traditional economic downturn or whatever, now you got the informed pessimism.
Yeah.
Like, okay, this stuff happens, and now because I learned from COVID or I learned from whatever, I can get through the next valley of despair.
Earlier, when you asked me what drove me to open up a coffee shop, you mentioned something that I think rings true. There's a lot of ignorance involved. And what I mean by that is that would I have done it necessarily if I knew everything that I had to go through? Probably not. So the ignorance factor helps, and it's good not knowing what happens next.
That's the beauty of
of having a business. That's the beauty of almost everything in your life. If you know all the ups and downs. I've been married for 24 years. I've been married for 24 years.
Ooh, glad I remember.
Yeah, I got married young. So if you knew all the ups and downs, would you do it? Right. Well, there's a beauty in not knowing.
Yeah.
Because the adventure is worth it.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It'd be boring if you knew what everything. Yeah. It's like when you're playing video games. I think you and I might be about the same age, but I remember playing video games with my family and my friends, and I would have that one relative who would be playing Super Mario Brothers, and they didn't like the way it was going, and then what they do, they go and push the Nintendo down and reset it.
Oh.
And you're like, come on, man, really? No.
Do over.
What? I mean, yeah, the fun is in taking, I mean, it's not fun when it's happening, but when you look back at what you endured, and you're like, wow, it took tougher than I thought.
Yeah, it's part of the adventure.
And it's all part of the adventure. I mean, really, who wants the spoiler alert? Spoilers are for Netflix series and soap operas.
Yeah, and to a certain extent, without it, then where's the heroism? So it's kind of have to go through it.
Yeah. Oh man, well this has been a blast. Been a while since I've been in here, but I'm glad that we connected for this.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've been wanting to shoot a video with you for some time, so I'm glad we made this happen, man.
Me too.
Really appreciate you inviting me in, and much success to you.
Thank you. Likewise.